Hey guys, so today we are back in my room for vlog number 5. We've decided to return back to the old scenery because the kitchen really had a weird smell and I didn't really want to hang out in there too much longer. So today we'll be discussing a chapter in two different books, and then we'll be answering some of the questions proposed by our professor for today's class. To begin, we'll discuss a little bit about chapter 2 because it was really one quote that I found very interesting and I could relate to my real life experiences. So the quote that I found in chapter 2 was small, and it was stated, "Separated by distance, people sharing media can feel closer by experiencing similar forms of mediated humor." Now, I think could speak for a lot of us in that coming to college was a big experience. It was a new experience. It was a scary one as well. However, I found that, especially with one of my friends in particular, with two of my friends, that we have a really big bond over music and over sport, especially soccer. So I found that online, and I'm not going to even keep this to strictly just to YouTube videos because it said in the quote, people sharing media, but just tagging my friends in a lot of musical articles about artists that we like, such as Kanye West, Chance the Rapper, Travis Scott, Frank Ocean. That was a way for us to keep in touch. And actually, to this day, when we text, we always text, or we tag each other and spark conversations about music. And I found that particularly interesting to find that in the quote, because I really feel that there's a distance between my friend now. It's probably a few hours by plane now that we're in different colleges, universities, respectively, and it's very tough to see each other. So I feel like this bond over music um, has been incredible, and by sharing media between each other, we've been able to maintain some form of relationship, which I myself am incredibly happy to keep. And then with my other friend, it's the same thing with soccer. It's tagging each other in videos of who scored what goal, who's doing well, positions on the league table, and just fun little things like that. So I find that sharing media is incredibly important in keeping relationships. I don't think right now with parents, because some of our parents are maybe a bit old school, or just really because we see them all the time, there's no need. But with friends, now that we've with real friends, now that we haven't been able to see each other a lot, I feel like it's the best way to keep relationships going. Now, in chapter 5 of Burgess's and Green's book, there was one concept that I found particularly interesting, and it was cultural. It was in now in now in Burgess's and Green's book. Now, in chapter 5 of Burgess's and Green's book, there was one concept that I found particularly interesting, and it was entitled cultural citizenship. On page 77 in the book, it gives us a brief description of what this concept is. And it is, if they encounter one another under the right conditions, the website is an enabler of encounters with cultural differences and the development of political listening across belief systems and identities. Now, I think that this aspect of YouTube, what cultural citizenship was talking about, really was you can tie this into the fact that we're in a globalized world with globalization, how people are ideas, goods, services, beliefs are transported around the world at such a quick pace. um, I feel that YouTube acts as a great um, I guess hotspot, or meeting spot for all these ideas and beliefs, and it truly is a way. I believe I completely agree with this quote in that it's a way of developing like an understanding between people, because you can be in the United States and then there'll be someone in South America or in Europe who you can communicate via vlog and have similar ideas that you believe in. So I think that this topic was incredibly interesting because it's something that's true, it's something that's real, and it's a positive thing that affects the world. Lastly, our professor proposed a few questions for us to answer for today's vlog. Two of them I feel go hand in hand, and I feel have related to me on a very personal level. And these questions are: one, have you formed relationships through YouTube or through other forms of video, say Snapchat? And two, how do you experience these mediated relationships in comparison to or in combination with your real life / in-person relationships? And I really don't think I don't think I've formed any relationships strictly through a social media outlet or any media interface. I feel though that, as I've stated earlier in the video, that some of my relationships have been strengthened, if not maintained, by social media or by YouTube and other media interfaces. I can give you the example again, just repeating myself, of my good friends with music and with soccer. That's been a way that we've kept in touch, and not just through those two things, but through those two things and media. And I think that how they work in combination with my real life relationship with those two friends because first off, you have to have that in person relationship. I feel like you have to meet them, get to know them before you can just like you can't just have some sort of fake relationship through social media or just or any media interfaces. It's got to be something real, and yeah. So I think that these relationships have been only strengthened by YouTube, but not created by them. The last question proposed by our professor is: how does your sense of an audience and a potential relationship with that audience impact your own vlogging? I feel like in a way, in some aspects, because I'm not doing something, for example, like a live reaction video to music, I know I don't really have to act. I can just be myself. But then again, there's some things that I may not say because I won't feel comfortable knowing that there's going to be an audience that who doesn't really know me or know how I think, how I feel in most situations, so they could be very judgmental. So I think in a way it limits, but it also gives me some sort of freedom. I feel very confident just here in my room when I vlog to just speak to the camera and just say how I really feel, to tell people how I really feel, and and that's fine. So the audience works both ways. It can be limiting, but it also can be very freeing, and very allow me to be very expressive. So I think the audience works both ways in how I go about my vlogging for this class.